Who would have thought that like wanting the best for yourself and those around you would be a bad thing in some people's eyes? But apparently it is. Hello, angels, baddies, and bitches. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Amber Akilla. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for following me on Instagram, TikTok. You can also listen to my podcast, Friend Crush with Amber Akilla, and for music and playlists, Spotify and SoundCloud at Amber Akilla. I am DJing an event tomorrow, so this is my trial makeup. Let me know what you think of the red. If you're new to the channel, cute, chaotic, and critical thinking, that's the vibe. Being hot and having fun is the life philosophy. And yeah, I'm not here to tell you to be like me. I'm here to provide perspective that can help you be more like you. Okay, I believe in authenticity. I believe in living your best life, but everybody's life is going to look different. Everyone's context is different, and it's about asking yourself the right questions, not me giving you specific answers. Okay. Anyway, so today's topic is the price of slaying is haters. If you had told me when I was 11, thinking about self-esteem, thinking about how to live my best life in spite of the spiritual attack I was under, being Asian, growing up in a very white-dominated area, and you told me that the more true to yourself you are, the more people are going to hate you, I would be so confused. And to this day, I'm still confused, because for me, being authentic and living your best life has always meant being able to encourage other people to do that too. Okay. A part of that is being able to encourage others and being able to share your life with other people that are also living their best life, right? There is a difference between privilege and empowerment. Privilege being something that is material, empowerment being something that is spiritual and comes from within. And I'll probably have to do like a separate video on that. But for me, I feel like my journey has very much been focused on understanding empowerment, understanding how to use my privilege to communicate ideas about empowerment as well. So if you had told me that wanting to do that meant that people weren't going to like you, I wouldn't understand that. And I still am confused by that, but I'm here to tell you and provide you perspective that if you are on your own journey of self-discovery, if you want to live your best life, if you want to be able to decenter all of the expectations that you've internalized and this idea that you have to be a certain way in order to be loved, in order to be valued, in order to be worthy, and you want to actually just do what you want to do and be hot and have fun on your own terms, you're going to encounter pushback. Because to me, I always thought the better I am, the better I can contribute to the world around me, the better friend I can be. The better friend I am to myself, the better friend I am to my friends. The more success I experience, the more I can share with people around me. I can buy my friends better presents if I have more money. I can invest more in myself and in the projects that I want to pursue, the more successful that I am. Not everybody thinks this way, because this is not me telling you you shouldn't pursue living your best life because you might lose certain relationships. I'm just letting you know in advance that that is going to be a possible price that you pay in the pursuit of that, or that it's just something that you might encounter that maybe you weren't cognitively prepared for the way that I wasn't. And this can be work, platonic relationships, romantic relationships, familial relationships. These dynamics exist just between human beings, period. But the context can differ. But in my opinion, the dynamic is the same. And the way that you move forward or the way that you think about it is pretty similar for each situation. It doesn't change the fact that the intensity of the feelings in different contexts might be different. But it doesn't really change the fact that if you have to constantly meet someone else's needs at the expense of your own, that is going to get in the way of you being able to have full control and agency and intention with the way that you allocate your energy, right? And it's not going to be the best use of your time and energy either, because you are not in mutually beneficial, mutually respectful relationships. Nothing can really prepare you, okay? You can't necessarily predict who it's going to be either. And I can almost guarantee you it will surprise you, because you become so acclimatized to living a certain way, to certain relationships, to being in a certain vibration. as you're making steps to elevate or move forward in your life, that next plane is somewhat unfamiliar to you. Okay, so once you move into that plane and you start to familiarize yourself with it, that's when the contrast occurs between you and the relationships that are no longer compatible, and the confirmation of you and the relationships that are actually compatible between these two levels. Okay, this isn't for you to like freak out, to cause you anxiety like I've got ops around me. Not at all. I'm just encouraging you to continue forward on your journey. If this happens and someone that you care about a lot, someone that you thought you could move forward with, it turns out that you're not as compatible as you thought, or you receive some sort of like unsolicited backlash from someone that you care about, or betrayal, then you can think back to this video and maybe rewatch it, or just know that you didn't do anything wrong. Okay, it's not anybody's fault. It's just kind of the way the cookie crumbles. It's just what happens when you grow and you evolve. Okay, and that's a beautiful thing, even if part of it means that there are certain people that you originally would have loved to have joined you in that journey in every stage, but the reality is that they can't, or that their path just goes in a different direction to yours, and that's okay. It's not who's right, who's wrong, who's good, who's bad, who's better or worse. It's just how it is. Because I always assume that for me, being a better version of myself is better for everyone, people that I know, people that I don't know. It never occurred to me that that would be threatening to people that I know. There are some people that are only looking for company to their misery. You connected while you were on a certain vibrational frequency that was compatible with theirs, even though you always planned to elevate or move forward or grow, and maybe they even told you that that was their plan too. They had no plan. They just enjoy talking about the future, talking about what they want to do, but that doesn't mean that they're doing it. And when you start doing it and it feels like the gap between the two of you starts to grow, it might not even look like there is a gap. On an objective level, observation-wise, it's like you guys still talk regularly, you still hang out regularly, but they can feel the distance growing, even if you can't, even if you just assumed you were growing together, even if you assumed the benefits that you now have, you can share with them, or you actually are sharing with them. They don't see it that way. They see it as a threat. They might assume that you are going to leave them behind, so they will try to sabotage the relationship before that happens. They're going to betray you before you betray them, even if there was no plan for you to do that. At no point did you ever think that they wouldn't be in your life. The way that they see your growth, they think that's a threat to them. That could be for a number of reasons that they're not even aware of. You also realize that there are a lot of people who never think about what they contribute. They only think about what they can gain from their relationships and the people that they're around, but at no point do they think about what vibe they bring to the function. That's another video topic in the future. I think too much self-development content, confidence content is focused on how you can be confident and what you get out of it once you are confident, and not how a big part of sustainable confidence is how you encourage confidence in others, how you contribute to other people's lives, how you feel a sense of achievement, how you feel a sense of community as well. Because if you are not appreciated by other people, and you only think about what you have to gain, it will never be enough to satisfy you. You'll never feel secure in your confidence because it will always rely on other people and not on what you provide. A lot of people only think about what they are getting out of certain situations, and they never think about what they can provide. Anything that they can provide is not of value to them. They don't think about, I don't even know what they think about, because I don't relate to this mindset at all. People like that see you developing a sense of confidence and developing a sense of self that focuses as much on contribution as well as what you can gain, and you are in mutually beneficial relationships. They will consider that a threat to them. They don't even know why that is a threat to them. They don't even know what they're jealous of. They're just jealous. I don't know. It's such a mind fuck, that kind of psychology, because on the one hand, it's like, They want to be around you because they want to benefit from you, but they're also not willing to acknowledge the effort that it takes for you to provide benefits to other people. What you have done, what you contribute in the process of having something that other people want, right? They don't know that that takes work. They just assume that it comes so easily to you, that it's just a privilege that you have. But you can only harness privilege and turn it into empowerment internally. That's not something that's just a given. And because for them, you are considered a stepping stone to them getting something that's beyond you, they're using you as like a placeholder or using you as a stepping stone to get what they really want or to get access to what you have. They assume that you ascending equals a betrayal of them, because that's what they would do if they ever ascended. If they ever got to where they wanted to be beyond you, they would leave you behind. And that's why they do that to you. And that was like one of the hardest things for me to come to terms with, because I was like, at no point did I ever think that people that I cared about at a certain period of my life would not be a part of my future. Also, the difference between having an internally focused reality and an externally focused reality. When you are overwhelmed with insecurity, depression, anxiety, victim mentality, grief, this is a normal part of the human experience, so I'm not here to guilt or shame you. But when you are in that mindset and you are externally focused, as in you feel that things around you have to change in order for you to feel good. Things around you need to change in order for people around you need to validate how you feel in order for you to validate how you feel. People around you need to give you permission to do the things that you want to do so that you can give yourself permission to do the things you want to do. That is a disempowering mindset to be in. And that is the mindset that your haters have. They are thinking that you have to stop living well so that they can stop feeling shitty. But in reality, when you were internally focused, okay, all these things suck, true. I feel like shit, true. But it's my responsibility to figure out how I'm going to move out of this. And when I describe it, it sounds like it's not a big difference, but anybody that has made that shift, it's a huge difference in mindset, okay? People that are internally focused and people that are externally focused in their worldview, abundance mindset versus scarcity mindset, they're basically not compatible. It's very difficult for the people in those two different mindsets to relate to each other, to build a sustainable, ongoing relationship, because your worldview is completely different. It's like trying to pour into a void, basically. When you're internally focused, when you accept your reality, radically accept it without guilt, without shame, without desperation to change your circumstances, and you get granular. What is something that I can appreciate right now? What is something I have control over right now that I can take steps towards, that's going to give me a sense of fulfillment, that's going to allow me to pour into my own cup rather than waiting for someone to pour into it? When you start to do that and you've been consistent, okay, it takes discipline and it takes consistency. You don't watch this video and then you wake up tomorrow a different person, okay? You take the information and then you apply it every single day. And there's a difference between people who just want to watch and consume content and temporarily feel good about themselves. They get a dopamine hit, and people that are like, okay, what is the information that I need to absorb here and how can I apply it to my own life? Once you've done that, you've become internally focused. You learn to have an abundance mindset. You learn to radically accept the shitty situation that you're in, and you take responsibility for how to move through it and how to move past this and how to grow from it. You realize that you can't do that for anybody else. Once you've done that for yourself, even just a little bit, you realize all the times you were trying to get through to your friend, trying to give them advice to stop them from making a bad choice, trying to prevent them from experiencing the pain that you experienced, like begging them to not date some guy, make some decision. You realize that it's up to each person to do that. You've started to do that for yourself. You can't climb into your friend's brain and help them understand that you never thought about betraying them. You never thought that they were less than you just because you were trying to make moves, trying to ascend in your own life. And it can be really difficult to come to terms with that, because you also find it so hard to put yourself in their mindset, as you should. And there's no reason why you should even do that, because that would be a regression for you to think that you need to minimize who you are, minimize your achievements and your hard work just because they're uncomfortable with it. Whether that's someone that you know, whether that's some random ass person that's triggered by your success, these are just inevitable consequences of slaying. I'm sorry. Nobody could have prepared me for that. Just be aware that it's a possibility, okay? So it's less surprising when it does happen. Honestly, it's usually the person that you have the most contact with, the person that you speak to almost every day, the person that's messaging you constantly about all the little inconveniences in their life that you just kind of tolerate. It's it's almost always going to be that person, because you realize that they have created a codependent relationship with you. And even though they keep talking and yapping about how they want to do these things, how they want to grow, how everyone else is so annoying, and it's just the two of you that understand each other, they're actually funneling energy from you. They are using your attention to them as the thing that props their self-esteem up, that props their sense of self up. You are just like supply to them. And that doesn't alchemize into them taking real action in their life. They think that consistently messaging you and maintaining a connection to you is them being a better version of themselves, because there is a part of you that they admire. But in reality, they have to be consistent in the way that they approach their psyche, in the way that they approach their insecurities and their trauma, and confronting themselves the way that you are in the process of your healing and your growth. They could never imagine that it might be like the manager within them that they need to consult, not you. A lot of people will think that proximity to someone that looks like a solution is the same as taking responsibility for problem solving in their own life. That's just not the case. It's human nature that people get stuck in that mindset, and I'm not here to judge. I'm just here to encourage anybody that is on the journey of self-empowerment, self-development, self-growth, living authentically, being hot and having fun. That's the price, okay? Never assume that someone who is successful, someone who's living their best life, someone that you might be envious of, got there without haters. It's impossible to be widely liked, because everyone's context is different. People trigger different things in different people. To look at someone else's success, regardless of how many qualifications you can make, like, oh, they were privileged in this way, they're a Nepo baby, they had all these opportunities handed to them because of the way they look, because of blah, 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 blah. You will always have to walk through fire if you want to be hot, okay? If you want to be hot and having fun, fire is hot, you're going to have to walk through it. Everybody walks through it in their own way. Everybody has a price to pay. Focus on your journey and what you're willing to sacrifice to live your best life. It's scary that it might be someone that you've known a long time, that it might be someone whose company you've grown accustomed to, whose presence you assumed would be part of your future. I've never regretted cutting a bitch off. I've had moments where I've thought, oh, it would have been nice if they were here. Oh, you know, I kind of miss them. But don't look back. You're going to have moments where you experience nostalgia. The more you commit to yourself and the more you see results in that, and the more you feel results. This isn't even about how objectively successful someone looks. I feel that people develop envy and jealousy based on a vibe more than just things, because people that have been successful to society's standards, they didn't necessarily do it because it was authentically them. A lot of people do that and pursue that kind of life because they just feel like if they do those things, they'll be validated. So deep down, they remain insecure and inauthentic. People who are authentically living their lives, don't give a fuck, unbothered, they trigger people the most, because they don't even care about being validated by other people. They only care about self-validation, and validation from others is secondary. It's a bonus, but it's not the priority. Your 80%, I enjoy my life, 20% if other people enjoy it, good for them and good for me. But I'm not going to switch it so that it's 80% I need other people's validation so that I can have 20% self-validation, right? But yeah, so even if you don't feel like you're the most successful that you could be, you're living the best life that you could live, that could still be triggering to other people because their bar is lower than yours, or they could not imagine not caring what other people think the way that you do. They could not imagine for themselves living unbothered, or noticing and recognizing that there are expectations for you that are totally unreasonable, and then doing whatever the fuck you want anyway. A lot of people can't imagine that, and you can't imagine that for them because that's not how you think. But I don't know, that's just the reality. And you have to learn to accept it. You'll be forced to learn to accept that at different stages. If you do come across this kind of situation, remember that space is being created for new relationships, new connections, new opportunities, and new experiences to enter your life in this new plane that you're in this new version of you. Unfortunately, your new life usually has to cost your old one. Your new relationships sometimes have to cost your old ones too. It doesn't mean that you have to start from zero every time. I'm very lucky that I've had friends that I've known since I was 4 years old, that I've known since I was 14, that I've known since I was 24, but not every single person has been able to join me in the journey, and vice versa. And again, it's not a value judgment, it's just an observation of reality. And it's also an opportunity for you to learn and reflect on certain red flags that you maybe didn't pick up on before, and to just reflect on things to make a mental note of in the future, okay? Because when you do look back at this new version of yourself, at the old version of yourself that connected with this person or these people, there will be things that sort of stick out to you that they did or that they said. At the time, you didn't think were that big a deal, but your intuition was kind of like, I don't know about this. But now that you're a new version of yourself, you realize that was a red flag. And if I see that in a developing relationship in the future, I'm going to be a little bit more discerning. You don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater, but just tread lightly. As you evolve, as you grow, the stakes get higher, because the more effort you've put into being this version of yourself, the more investment you have and the more protection that requires, okay? Because you are going to attract more people the more attractive you become. And I don't even just mean on a physical level, I mean just energetically. And you do have to be discerning with who you do and don't connect with, which relationships you do and don't continue, and how you set boundaries. It's not up to other people to do that for you, it's up to you. And that's what these experiences test in you, what these experiences are here to teach you. So yeah, I've been through rounds of this, because I've been in situations where I've moved on, grown in some way, a part of my frontal lobe has developed, and I've realized that I misread a lot of red flags at the beginning of a certain relationship that I now have to let go of. And I assumed, okay, I'm never going to be in a toxic relationship again now that that's over. When in reality, no, now you just have more tools to better understand how to avoid getting into another toxic relationship or friendship or work situation. And you need to change the way you behave and the way that you respond to different things. Each time it's been like a shorter and shorter time period. Like maybe the first toxic friendship I let go of was like 6 years. And then the next one was like 2 years. And the next one was like 1 year. The next one was like 6 months. The next one was 2 months. And now I'm really hoping that I'm done, but you never know. Things change all the time. That shows growth. I'm not going to shame myself for being in those situations, because I recognize the role that they played at each stage of my life. But I'm hoping to take more wisdom and to better protect my time and my energy and allocate it in ways that facilitate a life of being hot and having fun, an environment of being hot and having fun, relationships being hot and having fun. Those are my thoughts for today. The price of slaying is haters. It's not your fault that you trigger other people with how hot you are, how much fun you're having. You just have to keep going, and you learn and you grow and you refine. Who would have thought that like wanting the best for yourself and those around you would be a bad thing in some people's eyes? But apparently it is. And yeah, focus on yourself, drink lots of water, tell your friends and family you love them, stay hot and having fun. I'm sending love and slay your way always. Follow me on all the things. Let me know what you thought about this video. Let me know what you think about my makeup look today. And I'll speak to you soon. Love you.